This is the Sd.Kfz 251-22, the German half-track beast that shouldn't really work, but does, and when it does, it works well. However, there is only one weakness, and that is machine gun fire.
Jetzt wird's ernst, Leute! Seid verteilt! Lichtschütze bereit!
As I pushed the corner of this rock, I spotted an enemy tank capturing A. However, when I shot at it, I didn't do much damage, only killing its gunner, and it was able to hide before I could finish the job. Then another tank shot at me. I wasn't sure where, so I began to retreat. It then shot at me again, but luckily it didn't do any damage. As I went to shoot at it again, I missed, but so did he. I waited for reloading and tried to shoot him, but as he was moving, I missed. However, I hit a tank behind him. I continued to try and kill the first tank, but I missed again. So I decided to focus and try and kill the second tank. Hitting the second tank again, I only got a few of his crew. However, I shot again, finally finishing the job. At this point I was low on ammo and I'd lost sight of the other tank. I built an ammo box to try and replenish on ammo and see if I could finish the job. However, the other light tank that I saw had now escaped and I had no clue where it went. Hopefully one of my teammates would kill it. I pushed past the rock to try and head towards A and kill the tank that I first saw there. However, one of my teammates managed to kill it, but luckily I got the kill assist. As I pushed up, I didn't spot the tank that saw me and shot at me. Luckily I was able to spot it and shoot. However, it hit me, killing my driver. Now my driver had replenished, I was heading towards A to try and get a crew replenishment and reload. When I looked at A, I saw a tank shoot at one of my teammates. And luckily I was able to curve my bullet over the hill so it didn't see me and hit it directly, killing it instantly. As I pushed up to A to help my teammate capture the zone, an A-13 that I hadn't noticed shot me and killed me. Spawning in as a plane, the goal was to try and head to A and cover my teammates so they could recap the zone. However, I noticed the hostile team capturing A, so my goal was to just try and blow up what I saw in A. As I was coming in, I noticed movement at B, so I decided to head over and try and bomb it. Luckily, the bomb I dropped hit a direct hit, killing the tank instantly. However, the timed fuse was not long enough and I damaged part of my plane in the process. With another anti-air shooting me, I decided to turn around to see if I could strafe it. However, I noticed some more movement on B and tried to kill the light tank that was on B. However, I missed all my shots, dealing no damage and being useless. So, I decided it'd be best if I tried to head back to base and rearm my bomb. Now I had landed, I just had to wait to be rearmed and repaired so I could head back to the battlefield and continue helping my team, hopefully being able to push back and capture a few zones before the match ended.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
As I made my way back to the battlefield, I noticed our ticks were incredibly low and I didn't notice if I'd make it back or not. Unluckily, none of my teammates were near a point and wasn't managed to capture it before the match sadly ended before I could get back and help my team. In the end, I got 4 kills, 3 with the tank, 1 with the plane, and I'd say that was an overall good match. Even if the Sd.Kfz 251-22 is an amazing tank, like any other tank, you will have some bad matches. This match shows how, no matter how good the tank is, there will always be the bad matches. Spawning in on the left side, the plan was try and stick to the left of A and flank the enemy's left side. Then, I would head up to B and help capture. However, as you'll see, this doesn't really go to plan. Pushing up next to this Panzer IV-H, I spot an enemy tank on the hill in front of me. I take a shot, but unluckily I miss. My teammate then swiftly takes the kill. As soon as my team had already captured B, I continued to push forward and head towards their spawn. Pushing over this hill, I spotted an enemy tank destroyer. Luckily for me, the first shot I fired hit its ammo, killing it instantly. Then, I spotted to my left an enemy tank that had just shot at my teammate. I took a shot, and luckily, I hit it directly, killing it with a single shot. However, an enemy shot at me, killing my driver and my gunner instantly. Then, because I was vulnerable, it shot at me again. Luckily, it did no damage. However, the enemy failed to notice my teammate that was next to it, which swiftly killed it. As I was retreating, as I had lost most of my crew, I wanted to go get some crew refreshment. I spotted an enemy tank fighting one of my teammates. However, when I shot it, I only killed 2 of its crew and it managed to retreat before I could reload and fire again. As I was reloading, I spotted an enemy SPA pushing up the hill. Unluckily for me, it knew where I was and shot at me. Because I was unable to reload in time, it killed me. Spawning into a plane, I saw that my team was beginning to capture C, so I decided to head to C and help defend them. When I spotted a tank, I tried to bomb it, however one of my teammates killed it before I could drop the bomb.
A little more effort and victory will be ours.
As I flew by A, an enemy at SPAA shot at me. Luckily, none of the shots hit me. However, as I was turning around to drop a bomb on it, an enemy plane spotted me and took some shots at me. As I went to drop the bomb on the SPAA, I spotted a lone M55 that I thought I could drop a bomb on and kill easily. However, my bomb did minimal damage to it. As I dropped the bomb, the enemy plane came up and because I was slow, shredded me, ripping off on my wing and setting me on fire, killing me instantly. This was another awful match, but this time it was just because I had a major skeleton. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know why I stopped, but I did. Um, As I pushed down the corner of the house, I saw this tank destroyer in front of me kill one of my teammates. So I waited for it to get in range and shot it. Luckily, I penetrated its front and killed its crew instantly. However, I failed to notice the light tank in front of me, which, unluckily for me, got a shot off and killed my gunner. However, as I waited here for my gunner to come back, the light tank thought it would be a good idea to push the corner. I then took the shot, killing it instantly. After killing these two tanks, I decided to be a good idea to push up and try and kill some more enemies so that my friend A can push up. However, I didn't notice there's a Crusader AA who noticed me and it shot at me multiple times before I had time to react, killing my crew quickly. Spawning in as a plane, the plan was to head down and help defend my team from enemy tanks, and to help them push from A to B so that they can try and capture the zone. However, you'll see shortly that this didn't really go to plan. As I approached the battlefield, I noticed an enemy light tank pushing my team. I went over to try and bomb it. However, when I dropped the bomb, the tank was too far away and I didn't do any damage to the tank. Turning back around, I spotted a Russian open-top tank destroyer that I tried to strafe. However, I missed most of my shots. I decided to go around and try and re-strafe it to finish the job. I was able to get my guns back around and kill the tank destroyer. Unluckily though, I crashed into the tree, which took my wing off, caused me to crash into the ground, dying quickly. Now this match I'm showing you here is probably the best match I've had in this tank in a while. I managed to get 6 kills, 2 assists and 2 capture points. And I didn't die.
Jetzt wird's aus,
My original plan for this map was to head towards A, and whilst over there get a few kills on the enemy that are trying to capture the point, then head and flank the enemy at B. On the minimap, I'd seen a player moving up towards A. I tried to take a shot at it, but I missed, so I took cover and waited for it to push up. Luckily, the player had moved up and I was able to get a shot off, killing all its crew instantly before it had a chance to shoot me. I noticed now that my team was now in between A and B, so I decided it'd be best if I continued to push up towards their spawn and then circle back around and attack B from behind. Again, looking at my minimap, I spotted there was a tank moving up. I managed to see it first and get a shot off before I had a chance of hitting any of my team. Now that these tanks were dead, I began to continue to push forward towards their spawn, then loop round and attack B from the behind. As I was waiting for the medium tank to push up, one of my friendlies that was nearby took the kill. As I saw there was no one there, I began to push up so that I could try and flank behind B and get a few more kills. As I pushed up, I noticed an American light tank zoom by in front of me. However, I couldn't turn my barrel fast enough and get a successful shot on. Luckily, as it entered the forest, I managed to hit its engine, disabling it, giving time for my teammate that was nearby to finish off the kill. Before continuing to push up, I decided to place an ammo box and rearm so I had some more ammo just in case. As I was waiting, an enemy anti-air pushed the corner. Without noticing me, I was able to take a shot off before it had a chance, killing it instantly. Now that I was full in ammo, I decided to push behind B. We'd captured the zone, but there was no one there to defend it, so I thought it'd be best if I stayed there and tried to help defend it. Luckily for me, I spotted an enemy tank that was pushing up to B. I managed to get a shot off, killing it instantly. Additionally, another enemy tank pushed up, but luckily he didn't notice me, so I was able to get the shot off and kill it as well. I noticed my friendly was under some fire at B, so I decided to head back and try and kill that light tank and kill the medium tank, and then recapture the zone. As I moved up, the medium tank sadly killed my friendly light tank that was up there. Luckily, however, the other light tank that was up there was killed by one of my friendlies, so that I only had to worry about the medium tank. As I pushed up, the medium tank began heading towards A, so because I had a friendly medium tank nearby, I let it capture B and began heading towards A. I was then shot by, however, they only killed my gunner, meaning I was still safe. I didn't have enough time or armor to turn around and try and fight back, so I tried to run and hope that one of my friendlies would kill it. I continued to head to A when a friendly killed the medium tank that shot at me, meaning I was safe for now. Additionally, I saw the enemy begin to capture the A point, so I knew where they were. I noticed where the tank was and tried to take a shot at it to kill it. However, I missed, only damaging its engine and keeping it alive. Luckily, I had a friendly plane on its way that dropped a bomb and finished off the job, giving me the assist. I then pushed up to A to try and recapture it. Now that all the zones were captured by my team, I began heading towards their spawn. However, I noticed B began to be decamped by the enemy team and they were killing our players, so I began to head back to try and help capture it back. On my way to B though, they managed to capture the zone. Then, as I was passing A, I noticed the enemy team began to capture it, so I quickly turned around. Luckily, I was able to spot the tank pretty quickly and was able to finish it off in a single hit. So I headed over and recapped A before heading towards B. I had now recaptured A and was going to head towards B. However, the round was about to end, so I waited to see if anyone else would push towards A. However, the match ended before I could see anyone else. I ended up 6 kills, 2 assists, 2 captures, and without dying a single time.